Bill Belichick Management Mastery, Part 7.
Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Thrive Time Show.
Now, 3, 2, 1, here we go!
Started from the bottom, now we here. Started from the bottom, and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we here. We started from the bottom, now we'll show you how to
Yes, 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 and yes. Thrive Nation, on today's show, we are having a conversation about the great Bill Belichick, perhaps the best manager in the history of American football and one of the best managers on the planet, as we continue to break down the 102 Bill Belichick facts that very few people knew previous to us recording this epic show series. And you might say, well, why are you committing 20 hours of your life to recording a show series about Bill Belichick? Well, it's because I'm obsessed with Bill Belichick. You know, for years as an entrepreneur, I struggled to be a good manager. Marketing, if you look at growing a business, you look at it as a linear workflow. So step number 1 in growing a business, if you turn to page 4 of the Boom Book, which you can download for free by going to thrivetimeshow.com and clicking on the podcasts button, you can download the Boom Book for free. Page number 4 from the Boom Book lays out a linear workflow. So step 1 is very easy. Everybody out there, if you're a business owner or want to be, you can write down your goals. We can all do that. We can write down our goals for faith, family, finance, fitness, friendship, fun. Everybody could do step 1. And we could figure out how much it costs us per year to do that. That's so easy to do. We could even sit down and figure out how many customers it takes. So as an example, for elephant in the room, every time we cut someone's hair, I make $2. $2. That's what I pay myself, $2. So we do 4,000 haircuts, I make $8,000. Everybody out there could go, hey, my goals are to make $96,000 a year. I've got a goal to achieve this goal financially and to do this and to take my wife to this trip and that trip and go on this vacation with my husband or do this with my kids or send my kids to private school. We could all make goals. It's so easy to make goals. It's so exciting to make goals. You go to a conference, that's so fun to make goals. A lot of conferences spend most of the time helping you make goals. But then after you've made the goals and you're sufficiently motivated, then we have to break it down into how much money does it cost us per year to achieve those goals. And all of us could do that. And then we could all sit down and go, well, how much profit do I make per customer and how many customers do I need to have to achieve my goals? We could all do that. You say, okay, great, I need 4,000 customers a month. Boom. Step 1, done. Now, step 2, this is the second box of the Boom Book found on page number 4, is you got to figure out how many hours per week you're willing to work. And this is where most people fall off the wagon. They said, oh, step 1 was awesome. I was on fire. I knew my goals. I knew my why. You got to know your why. Your goals are only as strong as your why. I've got a big why. It's like the why from the YMCA. Everybody can do it. I know my why. I'm excited. YMCA. I know my why. I got the why. But then, do I know the number of customers I need to achieve my goal? Yes, I do. And I know all the numbers. But then determining the number of hours I'm willing to work on my business, I'll skip that step. Let's talk about branding. No, we're going to go back to it. So we got to determine the number of hours per week you're willing to work. For Bill Belichick, it's all of them. So you might say, well, what do you mean all of them? Well, the guy has a goal like every other coach to win the Super Bowl, but he's willing to do whatever it takes to win the Super Bowl. So I thought I would introduce a few people onto the Thrive Time show, a few characters, a few great people from the office here. We have Jaron McKnight, who is a member of the Thrive Time show team. He works on the search engine team as well as on the sales team. He's an up-and-comer who I believe will be a future coach here in the not-so-distant future. And we have Andrew Rojas, who actually managed a Fuddruckers for many, many years. So let's start off with Andrew. Andrew, how long were you a manager at Fuddruckers? And make sure you eat that microphone with a spiritual passion, because that microphone is so sensitive. So how long were you a manager at Fuddruckers?
I was a manager for 3 years, about 2 years as a general manager.
Yep. So 3 years you worked there, 2 years as a general manager?
No, like 7 years I was working with the company, 3 years as a regular manager and then 2 years as a general manager. If that makes any sense.
Okay, and Jaron, what were you doing before you joined up with us here?
8th grade U.S. history teacher, and also owned my own accounting firm.
Okay, and talk to me about this for a second. Have you always known your goals, Jaron? Have you had your goals written down somewhere?
Honestly, no. I was.
This is a newer thing.
Yes, that's correct.
And so you now have, I'm not asking you to share what your goals are, but you've written down your goals, your F6 goals for your faith, your family, your finance, your fitness, your friendship, and your fun. You've written those goals down?
Oh, yeah, about 4 months ago.
Okay, and do you feel, has that helped you?
Phenomenally. Every single decision I make in life now, since I know my why for every single F6 goal.
Yeah.
Someone asked me, do you want to go out to the bar tonight? Nope, doesn't align with my F6 goals.
So you know your goals.
Yep.
So your goals are like your compass.
Exactly.
That's powerful. And I'm not diminishing the power of knowing your goals, but once you know your goals, I mean, now we got to put in the work, and you do. Andrew Rojas, let's talk about do you know your goals? Have you sat down and thought of your goals?
I actually did last week, and I sat down and I was like, I'm going to make my goals. So I actually put it on my phone. I have it written down, and just like you said, it is my compass on what I do things, and it is my big why on a lot of things that comes to my faith, my family, and my fun. And it was I had to think about my friendship on there, like who do I want in my circle, on who am I talking to, who am I surrounding myself with, and I have put those people into my calendar, and I call them on a weekly basis now.
So you've done this. You've implemented the F6 goals.
I put that in myself, yes.
How long have you been on the team, by the way?
I've only been on the team for about a month now.
I think your microphone hates me. Can you can you be like right on that thing? Are you
Absolutely. Better right now?
Oh, that's better now. Yeah, I think your mic was spiting us. It was wanting the microphone subconsciously been trying to mute you from America. Okay, so you know your goals, and Jaron, how long have you been on the team?
130 days.
So before you joined the team, did you have all your goals written down?
No.
So that part, working here has helped you.
Oh, phenomenally.
How has working here helped you to better define your goals?
I really think that the biggest thing I've changed is consistency. So now that I know my goals, I was just never put in an environment where someone said, you need to know your goals. I was a history teacher, and they just said, show up every day and you'll be great. But I'm demanded here to do things.
Okay. Now, there's a notable quotable that goes on the Patriots. It's the only one that is on the wall in the only quote that's in the Patriots locker room, according to everything that I could possibly read about Bill Belichick, which is all of it. And so I want to read the notable quotable to you guys because this is so powerful. The quote says, every battle is won before it's ever fought. So I'm asking you right now, again, this is painted inside the Patriots locker room, the locker room where the America's #1 coach, NFL coach of all time, offices, the locker room, the New England Patriots there, Bill Belichick, put that quote up. Well, what does that mean in the context of our lives? Well, box number 2, step number 2 from page 4 of the Boom Book. How many hours per week are you willing to work? Period. Let's get that. Let's write that down. Somebody should write that down. Somebody should write that. I'm asking somebody right now to get out a pen and write it down. So I'm going to tell you what I'm willing to work, and for accountability and for transparency, I'm going to pull up my calendar right now, and Jaron will be kind of looking over my shoulder so you can see this, and you could vouch for this, and I just because you've been up here before, but as a general rule, do you not see me at approximately 4 a.m. every morning? If you're here at 4, do you not see me at 4?
That is correct.
I'm here, so you see me come in at 4, 4:02, 3:55, 3:45. It's about that time.
That is correct.
All right. So I wake up every day at approximately 3 a.m. You say approximately why? I want 6 hours of sleep. But then I'm willing to go from 4 until, and you look at my calendar here, I'm done with my last interview on Monday at 6. So from 4 to 6, how many hours is that? That is 14 hours.
That is correct.
Do you see me take lunch breaks?
No.
But when clients are out of town or they can't be here, I'll eat something then. But other than that, I mean, I'm here, right?
Yes, that is correct.
So 14 hours a day, and I'm here 14 hours a day, and 14 hours a day. And then how many days a week do you see me up here, Jaron?
You're up here 6 days a week. Okay,
so let's say 14 times 5, because that's Monday through Friday. That's 70 hours I'm willing to put in Monday through Friday. Now, I'm done. Now, listen, drivers. I go to bed at 9, and I wake up at 3. So I'm going from 3 to 5. It's 14 hours. That's 70 hours a week. 70 hours a week. Then on Saturday, I'm going to pull up my calendar here so you can see it, Jaron. So Saturday, I work here I get here at the office at 5, and I go from 5 until my last meeting here is at 10. And my last meeting I'm scheduled is at 9:30. So that's 5 plus it's 5. So that's in there 10 hours. That's 80 hours. And then whenever my kids are at cheer or doing something, I read. So I would say conservatively, and then I also record on Sundays and Saturday mornings before the kids wake up. I record the shows before the kids wake up so it doesn't impact the family. So I would say 85 hours a week I work every week. Now, if you take 85 hours a week every week, and you've met my wife before. You've met my wife, Jaren.
Oh, yes.
We're still married. She's a great lady. But if I'm working 85 hours a week times 52 weeks a year, 85 hours a week times 52 weeks a year, and I don't take weeks off for holidays, etc., that's 4,420 hours a year. Well, if I work 4,420 hours a year, and the average person only works 36 hours a week, you could see, even if we were just having a race or a jog, I would win because I'm just putting in more time. I'm not that I'm a genius, and it compounds over time. You put in that work. So what does this have to do with Bill Belichick? Well, I'd ask you this today as we're reading Bill Belichick Fun Factoid number 81. Bill Belichick Fun Fact 81. The Patriot Way. Bill Belichick consistently quotes The Art of War. Again, he says, this is an article from Sports World, NBC.com. It says, he says, the only sign the Patriots have in their locker room is a quote from The Art of War. Every battle is won before it's fought. It's a constant reminder that games aren't won or lost on Sundays. They're decided during the preparation that precedes them. That's why my businesses win. I mean, when you come into our staff meeting, do you get the picture that I have planned for this, Jaren? I mean, you're in the staff meetings. What is our all-staff meeting like every week?
Oh, it's phenomenal. It's mainly on personal growth. So we focus on making sure that the business moves forward by making sure people are moving forward.
So what are some of the things I hammer pretty much every week, or at least every couple weeks, where you're like, he's going to hammer it. At some point, he's going to talk about this or something related to this pretty much every week.
I'm definitely going to go with itemize your savings for $500.
Itemize and automate your savings. I want everyone to automate their savings, and I want them to know how much it's going to be and just automate their savings, because there's a book called The Automatic Millionaire, and that's how you save money. And you saw Andrew, 21-year-old guy, just buy his second house, did you not?
Oh, yeah.
And that's because he automated his savings. Mr. Rojas, you've been here about a month now. How many times have you heard me talk about automating your savings?
At least 10 times.
10 times?
At least.
So, again, it's something that I do consistently. But, again, it requires preparation. And that meeting, what time is that meeting on Mondays? Do you remember, Jaren?
That's going to be 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock. And we're all there. And we're bringing the energy. We're bringing the enthusiasm. It's every week. Every week. We talk about, what are some other things we talk about every week, Jaren, where you'd go, this is something that happens every week. This is consistent. Working here, I can plan on it.
The amazing win of the weekend.
The win of the weekend, where we praise, we celebrate people's personal wins. We start every meeting off that way, right? We do that. Then we get into kind of a seminar or a workbook or a workshop or some kind of training of the week. We go over who set the most appointments for the week. I mean, it's the same agenda every week. Every week it's wins of the week. Then we celebrate who made the most calls. Then we have a little bit of a training and housekeeping notes from John. That's what we do.
Yep.
Every week. Have you ever worked in a place where it wasn't consistent before, Jaren? Have you ever worked in a place where they might or might not, the boss might or might not have that team meeting?
The military.
Interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Now, Mr. Rojas, you managed, again, a Fuddruckers. Talk to me about this for a second. I mean, have you ever worked in an environment where people have been less than consistent? And what does that do if you're working in an environment where consistency is not there?
Somebody else has to pick up the slack, and it's usually the higher ups. And then inconsistency, it just rolls downhill from there. So if the top person is not doing it, then the people as you go down the totem pole are not going to follow.
So if you are out there today and you Google search Bill Belichick mic'd, or you go to YouTube and type in Bill Belichick mic'd, you can see the man who's perhaps the most consistent person I have ever seen. He's super consistent. Jaren, have you watched Julian Edelman's video about weird interactions with Bill Belichick?
Yes, actually, yeah, that's great.
Have you seen this before, Mr. Rojas?
No, I have not.
Okay, let me cue this up real quick here. This would be Julian Edelman, a wide receiver for the Patriots, who was drafted from Kent State. He was once a quarterback. And I want you to hear this story, because it's going to let you into the mind of Bill Belichick. Let me cue it up here. Here we go. Here it comes. Shunda. It's on
I've
the
been
way.
there for 10 years. I've talked to him 8 times. I think he's secretly funny, and I feel like I've gotten to the point where I can actually laugh at his jokes or some of the things he does. We don't give examples, okay? What happens in that building stays in that building.
Okay, so Bill Belichick does not like it when anything that happens privately within the organization is shared. And so although Julian Edelman is kidding, he's really not kidding because that's a Bill Belichick thing. It's a top secret up there at Patriot Place. And we continue.
I mean, one time I was there, it was probably like my 3rd or 4th year in the building. I liked hanging out at the facility. I'd use the cold tubs until like 10, 11 o'clock at night. Just being there, being on the team. I think this may have even been my rookie year. And I was in there, and I go in the weight room, and it's all pitch black. And I'm sitting there, and I look. You always take a look who's in there. And I look, and there's Bill with pitch black. He's got the film on, got the big old book out, full pencil in the ear, writing notes, watching film on treadmill.
And this is what he does. And all the players who play for the Patriots talk about how when you leave the stadium, Bill's still there. And when you get there, he's already there. And that is why he wins. Now, Bill Belichick, fun fact number 82, the Patriots way. Bill will always find room for improvement, especially on winning games. Jaron, you were around Jonathan Kelly works up here. He's a very effective manager. Can you talk about Jonathan's worldview as it relates to getting something a little bit better every week?
It's never ending. He has a strong belief that if you get stagnant, you're actually digressing. So
Yes.
if it's the same every single week, we're getting worse as a team. And so he has something to say every single week to get better on.
That's what he does. And if you read the article on sportsworld.nbcsports.com called Everyone's Got a Bill Belichick Story, there's an excerpt that reads, I remember the 16-0 season, Harrison says. We would be winning games by 25 points. And in the Monday film sessions, he'd be saying, Brady, you can't hit a 260-pound tight end on that play. That's terrible. And do you guys on defense think maybe you can stop somebody for once? I mean, he just light us up. We're winning by 30, and he's just killing us. That's the mindset of Bill Belichick. And if you own a business today, you've got to have the mindset that you can always get better. It's called Kaizen. It is a Japanese concept of continual improvement. That's how you do it every week. You got to get better. You got to pull the weeds in your garden every week with your family, with your faith, your fitness, your friendship, your fun. This is how you get better. Every single week, we got to ask ourselves, what can we do to get better? Now, Bill Belichick, fun factoid number 83, the Patriot Way. Bill is an avid planner. If you read the article on sportsworld.nbc.com, Everyone's Got a Bill Belichick Story, it reads, I'll tell you what separates him from every other coach. He always has a short-term plan and a long-term plan. He's always working on both at the same time. Bill Belichick spends seemingly every minute of every day thinking about how to win the next football game. He's focused on winning that game in a way that even in a sport famous for coaching obsessive stands out. No, he's not necessarily smarter or tougher or more competitive than other coaches, but maybe he will focus on it just a little longer. So let's talk about this for a second. I've been talking about Bill Belichick for a lot of shows. I mean, I'm not sure how many shows I've done so far. Let me just see how many shows there are released right now, because I don't know the exact number off the top of my head. Let's look it up real quick here. Okay, I've done 1,775 shows that have been released right now, but I have another several hundred yet to be released. So you have heard 1,775 shows. Now, think about that for a second. If I had done 1,775 and I divided that by 365, if that's what I did, if I did a show every day, that would be approximately 4.8 years of doing a show every day. But I do 9 shows a week, but you get the idea. It's the consistency. That is why when you type in Bill Belichick #1 fan, if you do Bill Belichick #1 fan using the number sign, you will see that I come up top in Google. Or if you type in Bill Belichick coaching philosophy, let's see where I come up. I think I'm on page 1 now, but I'm not #1 overall. If you type in Bill Belichick coaching philosophy, I come up Okay, at the bottom of page 1 for that. And there are many, many Bill Belichick keywords that I come up top for because I'm obsessed with Bill Belichick. And so I'm asking you today, what are you obsessed with? You got to be obsessed with something. Being centric doesn't work. According to the Federal Reserve, the average American has approximately $400 saved. According to Gallup, the average American, 70% of people hate their jobs. 70. Is that shocking to you, Jaron, that 70% of people hate their jobs?
Oh, yeah. That's mind-blowing to me.
It is shocking to you?
No, I mean, honestly.
Have you had jobs?
Oh, I've definitely had jobs, but I kept leaving them until I found this one.
Rojas, is that shocking to you that 70% of people hate their jobs?
It doesn't shock me.
Yeah, it doesn't shock me at all. To me, it's like, I mean, it's not good, but I'm not shocked. Every time I see people, I don't really go out very much. And when I invite people over, though, a lot. So I have people over. Let's make sure we get this, Thrive Nation. I don't go out, but I have people come over. And you might say, what does that mean? Well, in America today, there are 330 million Americans. It's a large number. And of that 330 million Americans, we have 16 million of which start a business every year, 16 million of which say they're self-employed. So think about that for a second. There's 16 million people in America right now who are considering themselves, oh, I do not like that sound. Look at that. That's a bad sound, Thrive Nation. Oh, that's a good sound right there. That's a good sound. This sound, though, right here, this is a bad sound. But this sound right here, that's a good sound.
Oh,
there are 330 million Americans right now in our country. Someone should write that down. 16 million of which say they are self-employed, but yet, according to Inc. magazine, 96% of business owners are going to fail within 10 years. Fail. Done. That means you have a 0.0019% chance of being successful. 0.2%. What? Yes. So you know the kind of people that means in a city like Tulsa where there's 400,000 people. That means there's like 800 people in the whole city who are successful for a decade. The whole city. 800. So I don't understand people that are complaining all the time. I don't understand people that are not happy with their lives. I don't understand people that don't like their family. I don't understand people that don't like their job because I create the life I live. I design the life I want. I don't just react to it. And so at my house, I invite Charles Kolaw over. He owns the multi-million-dollar company called Kolaw Fitness. He and his wife, they run that business. I invite him over. Why? Because he chooses to be successful? Yeah. I invite a 21-year-old named Andrew Bloomer over. Why? Because he chooses to be successful. And I think, Mr. Rojas, you've seen the staircase there. But if somebody is coachable, consistent, honest, whatever, they get an invite to the man cave. Coachable, honest. It's just I have like a formula. And I look at my staircase, and it's actually a drawing I have, and I look at it and go, is this person consistent, honest, coachable? And if they are, I invite them over. And if they're not, I don't, because I don't want drama in my backyard. I don't want drama in my house. So why would I have Charles Kolaw come over? Why would I have people like the owners of Platinum Pest, Jared and Jennifer, come over to my house? Why would I have Wes Carter, the attorney of choice for his law firm, represents T.D. Jakes and Craig Rochelle and Top Ministries? Why would I have these people at my house and not everybody? Because consistency is what matters. Consistency over time. And I don't need to convince the people at my house that we all need to get better every week. We don't have that conversation. But we don't just get together and complain about the way life is. We're always focused on getting better. That is what we do. That's the common denominator. Whether someone's an employee or an owner, that's what I'm looking for. Now, Bill Belichick, fun factoid number 83, the Patriot Way. Bill's an avid planner. Think about that. Are you an avid planner? Are you planning your life to be the way you want it to be? Or are you just reacting? Because if you're just reacting and complaining, you have to be a solution-focused, a solution and future-focused person to be successful. You think about the solutions and the future. That's how you become successful. Now, Bill Belichick, fun factoid number 84, the Patriot Way. Jaron, Bill Belichick, fun factoid number 84. What do you have there, my friend?
The Patriot Way. Bill was president of the Chi Psi fraternity at
Wesleyan
University.
This just in from our home office. That's a good sound. That's a bad sound. Not a good sound. A good sound. Okay. So Bill was the president of his fraternity at the Wesleyan University. Now, the Bleacher Report, there's an article called Before the Hoodie, Bill Belichick's Origin Story. Jaron, you want to read that to us there, my friend?
Yeah. Our former member of the fraternity described Bill's fraternity at the Boston Globe as Animal House before the movie. He rocked out to the Beatles, Bob Dylan, and the Grateful Dead, skipped class to go to Mardi Gras, sneaked a case of beer into the Gone with the Wind by holding it under his puffy coat, and he had long, shaggy hair.
Oh, Bill Belichick before you knew him, so he is human. Why am I mentioning this? Because everybody out there, we all have to come from someplace. I don't care where you have been. I care about where you're going, which takes us back to page 4 of the Boom Book here. You see, right now we know our goals. Box 1, I got that. I know my goals. Box 2, how many hours am I willing to work? This is it. No, somebody needs to hear this, but somebody is going to get a little upset right now. And what's going to happen is because your exceptional future self is going to run into your ordinary self right now, and this is what's going to happen.
So Jesus, who is exceptional, is having a conversation with ordinary. And exceptional and ordinary always have a conflict. Anytime exceptional people dwell in the midst of ordinary thinking people, there's always going to be conflict.
So you used to not be a morning person, but now you are. Why? Because you want to be a successful person. And if the vast majority of people are, 70% of people hate their jobs, well, the vast majority of people are not successful. Again, the vast majority of people don't have businesses that work. Perhaps we should look at those successful people and say, what do they do? And all of the successful people I've met who have traveled from not successful to a place called successful, all of them became morning people.
Meta time.
Because you have to get up every day and design your schedule. Jaron, what happens every day now that you get up and plan out your schedule? How is your life different on a daily basis? On a very practical level. I mean, how is your day different? How's your life different when you plan out your day?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that that's the time that change actually happens. So I've read 12 books now since I started working here. And
what are a few of the books you've read, by the way?
Well, all the Clay series, obviously.
Give us a few of the books you've read. And seriously, what would be one of the books that you've read that I've written that you think was probably the most impactful for you?
Well, honestly, the Boom Book's great, but Get Started is like the full finished version of the entire thing.
So start here.
Yeah, I went through 12 highlighters when using that book. It is absolutely phenomenal. And if I would have read that book when I was a business owner, I probably wouldn't be here right now.
Okay. Well, I tell you what. So, again, if you're out there today, I'm asking you, are you being proactive about your life? Are you doing that? And quit beating yourself up about where you came from. Bill Belichick was a frat guy who was a little bit wild, all right? So now he's the best coach of all time. Now, Bill Belichick, fun fact number 85, this just in from our home office, is what, Mr. Jaron?
The Patriot Way. Bill Belichick sent out 250 handwritten letters to college coaches to try and obtain his first job.
I don't know if anybody out there can relate to that, but I mean, if you're mailing out 250 handwritten letters, you're mailing out 250 handwritten letters. If you're mailing out 250 handwritten letters, I mean, think about that. Think about the time it would take to write 250 handwritten letters. You know, writing 250 handwritten letters is about 250. It's kind of parallel to doing a 20-hour Bill Belichick series. I mean, think about that. What kind of sick freak would work so hard to achieve financial freedom? To only devote his free time to doing a 20-hour series about the greatness of Bill Belichick. I mean, who would do that? Why would somebody do that? Why? Well, apparently, somebody loves Bill Belichick. So Bill Belichick wanted to become a coach, and apparently nobody wanted him to be a coach. Think about that for a second. Apparently you want to become successful, but nobody else cares. Apparently. Because apparently when I reach out to guests to have them on the show, some people say no. You know, Brian McKnight, the R&B singer, just rejected me this morning. That was a beautiful rejection. Bill Belichick's, no, it was Bill Parcells' assistant just shot me down. We've had Nick Saban's assistant shot me down. These are all just recent ones. The DJ Casper, though, the guy who did the Cha-Cha Slide,
Oh, yeah.
he just said yes today.
That's
So
a win
he's
for
going to be on the
America.
show tomorrow at 10 a.m.
That's awesome.
I played that song thousands of times. But again, I mean, people say yes. Some people say no. The guy who started Paychex, a $28 billion company, just reached out to us to be on the show.
Wow.
One of my favorite books of all time is called Profit First. And the author of that book just reached out to us to be on the show. But apparently, Brian McKnight does not want to be on the show. But Brian, you know and I know that it's a matter of time. Because over time, we're going to make you an offer you can't refuse. You see, Brian, over time, you're going to find that you want to be on the Thrive Time show. Because we're going to make you an offer you can't refuse. And if you're not on the Thrive Time show, I'm not going to threaten you. I'm not going to say that I'm going to rip the head of a horse off of its body and put the horse head in your bed. I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't threaten you, Brian. No, I wouldn't. But I would say that you can start to feel a little bit of the pressure. It's like a lead pipe. It's like a figurative mental lead pipe is chasing in your brain. You want to be on the show, and I realize it. And I don't want you to get the feeling like somebody out there is trying to put a hit on you or something. I just am saying, you want to join the family. You want to be on the Thrive Time show. It's everybody's doing it. All the cool kids are doing it. I mean, we've got Wolfgang Puck on this show. We got John Maxwell. Now I'm looking for some Friday night. But you want to be on the show. But I'm going to reach out because I'm going to keep reaching out. I'm like a relentless bamboo. If you've ever had bamboo growing in your yard, you try to tear that stuff out of there, you can't kill it. It just keeps growing back stronger. I'm like a weed that you put out and it keeps growing back. Like the bamboo. I am like a relentless, I am like the weather. It just keeps changing over and over. And you're like, I just got to a place where I like the weather, and it changes again. I am like, it's like the seasons. They keep coming. I am like the sun that rises every morning. I am like that rash I've had for a decade. No, I'm just, it's relentless. And you've got to be that. You've got to be relentless. Relentless. Jared, read the excerpt from the Bleacher Report on Bill Belichick fun fact number 85 from the Bleacher Report story called Before the Hoodie, Bill Belichick's origin story.
So, he did not hear back from a single person because nobody wanted him.
Here we go.
Not a single person.
Nobody.
That's rude.
That's rude.
Man. Well, he sent out 250 letters to college coaches. Nothing. Not a single one.
Yep.
In 1975, he got his first job from Marca Broda, then head coach for the Baltimore Colts.
Marcia Broda, the head coach.
Marchie Broda.
Yep, go for it.
Need to go to college longer to learn to say words.
No problem.
So, you don't even have to pay me. Just give me something real. Marchie Broda needed a cheap film guy, and Belichick was passionate. Done deal.
Fellow coaches loved him. He worked hard. He was smart. Players, though, wanted to clock him. Colts linebacker Stan White told the interviewer, if Belichick seems harsh now, you should have seen his early years. He was so arrogant and brash that the Colts players called him a punk. Do you understand that he worked for a quarter an hour?
A quarter an hour.
1 quarter an hour in exchange for room and board and to be a coach on the Colts team in 1975. I'm asking you, Mr. Listener, Mrs. Listener, what are you willing to trade off for the success you want? Do you really want it? Do you really want it? Because I don't know if you do. I think we say we want it. I think we say we want to have success. I think everybody says that. If you interview the average person, do you want to have success? They say yeah. But do you want it? You know, like as an example, I know a lot of guys who are in great physical shape. And they always are telling me, dude, you should do a decathlon. Well, I'm going to tell you something. I don't want to run a decathlon. Bro, it's awesome. You get a runner's high. I don't want it. I think what bothers people is when someone says, I don't want it, and they actually don't want it. Because you're into fitness doesn't mean that I have to be. Because I'm into business doesn't mean that you want to be. But you're listening to a business podcast. So unless you're a sick freak, I'm assuming you want to have success in business. So what are you willing to give up for it? So let's talk about the holoplagues for a second. The holoplagues. Today, right now, it's the Thursday before Thanksgiving. And on Thanksgiving, I will not be working. I will be with my family on Thanksgiving. But I will be working on the Friday after Thanksgiving. And I will work on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And I will work on the Saturday morning following Thanksgiving and the Sunday morning following Thanksgiving. And I will do it. Why? Because I'm willing to make the trade-offs needed. You might say, well, Clay, how do you afford the thousands and thousands of trees that you own? How do you do that? How do you have the land? How do you do? What do you do? Well, trade-offs, trade-ups. What are you willing to trade? I'm not, though, willing to trade off my weekend to do a fun run because I don't think it's fun to run. Now, you might think it's fun to run, and that's cool. You might want to wear tight biker shorts and run around and be aerodynamic with your aerodynamic helmet, running around and blocking off city streets so that you can ride around and ride those bikes in those tight shorts that I don't need to see your package. I appreciate that you have a package. I love that the package is being delivered. I just don't want to see it. But you might say, I want you to see my package. I need to wear those tight aerodynamic shorts. I have to wear those shorts because if I don't wear those shorts, it will slow me down by 0.2 of a second per mile. And that's cool. If you want to dress like an aerodynamic person and you want to wear your aerodynamic helmet and your super skin-tight shirts with all the bright colors and you want to block off city streets to do your bicycle rides and your fun runs, that's cool. But don't be out of shape and complain about your shape if you're not willing to put in the work. And don't be financially out of shape and be upset that you're not where you want to be if you're not willing to put in the work. And don't be a bad husband and be upset that you're not a good husband if you're not willing to put in the work. It's work. Work, 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 work. So I'm asking you, what are you willing to trade off? I would suggest we go ahead and tackle the big three trade-offs right now. We tackle the big three. There's three big trade-offs. One, the average person right now is watching 11.3 hours a day of media on their smartphone. That's dumb. According to Nielsen, 11.3 hours a day. What? Well, apparently if you're watching 11.3 hours of media per day, it's hard to get something done. I'm not on social media all the time. Another example, the average person, according to the New York Times, spends over 5 hours per day with their TV on. Well, it's hard to read a book when the TV's on. Hard to do it. You might think you're doing it, but you're not doing it. Well, if we turned off social media and the TV, that might give us 16 hours a day back. Now, if you say, I'm already doing that, Clavis, I'm already doing that. Where can I find more time? Turn toxic relationships off. What? Whoa. When you talk to someone for an hour and a half about something that's not going to change, that's a toxic relationship. It's when they want to fix you. Every time you see them, they give you unsolicited feedback about what they don't like about you. That's called a toxic relationship. So you got to do is go, earmuffs, I can't hear you, and you leave. Because if not, you're going to spend your time in toxic relationships. You say, well, Clay, I'm not watching TV. I'm not on social media. I'm not doing toxic relationships. Where can I find more time? Quit Googling down black holes. Quit Googling something and then Googling something else and clicking on something and spending your whole day or night clicking on things. I don't do that at all. Okay, fine. Quit gossiping.
Oh.
Clay, I like to talk about other people who aren't present in a gossipy kind of way. It's my pastime. Okay, I've stopped that. What else could I? Just stop doing things that aren't related to your F6 goals. It's not that complicated. We have our F6 goals. It's like our compass. We know where on the map we want to go. We're currently located in Minneapolis, and we want to get down to Houston. So our compass says we got to go south. We got to go south. We got to get on that highway and go south. And you get on the highway and you go south. But I want to go west into Colorado. Okay, so you go west into Colorado. I don't understand why it's taking so long to get to success. Well, this example, Houston is success, and you went left. What? Yes, well, actually, you were driving south from Minneapolis down to Houston, so you turned right, and now you're in Colorado on the western half of the U.S. I don't understand why I'm not having success. Because you ate cake. Trying to burn more calories than you're burning more calories than you're consuming, so you just ate cake. I don't understand why I'm not achieving success. Because you just bought a bed. What are you doing? Do you understand I am a 39-year-old man and I sleep on the same freaking mattress that my wife and I first got when we got married? I've had the same mattress for 18 years. But shouldn't you get a new one? I could. I'm just saying. You probably, listener, and you, Mr. Listener, and you, Mrs. Listener, probably have a newer, nicer car than I do. I drive a Hummer, and I got to replace it eventually because the thing's leaking gas right now. I mean, it's just leaking gas. I've had it forever. Betsy's got, 200,000 plus miles on her.
Just got to make it to the new building.
Yeah, because the new building, I'll live on the same property as the building. So the commercial property and my residence will be on the same property. So
she'll live forever.
Then she'll live forever. But I got to make it till then. That's my goal. But Clay, I don't know why I'm not financially succeeding. Because you just bought cable. You just subscribed to cable. That's what happened. I don't know why I'm not saving money. Because you go out to eat every meal. Like literally every meal you're going to Chipotle. Yeah, but I want to eat healthy. BS. Go to Whole Foods. Go to Sprouts. Get yourself some. Here, let me give you the diet plan that Charles Kolah has given all of our listeners multiple times. Broccoli, chicken, water. Shut up. Broccoli, chicken, water. Have a side of shut up. Broccoli, chicken, water with a side of, but it doesn't have any flavor. Put some shut up on it and be fine. Broccoli, chicken, water. But I want to see a nutritionist. Oh, well, you're not going the right direction again. Clavis, my religion, my faith seems to be off. My faith. Well, you need to, stop watching scary movies and skipping church. Figure out where you want to go and go that direction. But I want to turn off the exit. It's so tempting. They have Amish-made goods. They make fudge. They make butter. They got the Amish accoutrements. I want to pull over and get it. Jaron, do you do road trips? You ever been on a road trip before?
Oh, yeah.
Are you a guy who likes to pull over and look at every possible little random distraction, or do you just power through?
I was the guy that got pulled along on road trips. I'd rather fly.
Okay.
I hate stopping anywhere.
But have you been with people that pull over every single time it's possible?
Oh, yeah.
There's a Subway. I'm hungry. Can we pull over? There's a McDonald's. Like, Rojas, are you a drive straight through kind of guy, or do you stop every single time?
I have to drive straight through. I have a destination. I'm going straight to there. But I will say, though, growing up with my mom and going road trips, going down to Houston, it was, let's go check this out. Look at did you see the windmills? We got to go check out the mountains. Let's go up over there. Or, hey, the blue monits are in season. Bam. So, or potty breaks. I can't tell you how many times we had to do potty breaks.
Or there's a Cracker Barrel. Let's go there. I mean, there's a big gas station with a casino next to it. Let's go in and play a few games.
So I'm dying in the back seat when we're driving to California as a kid, and my mom was like, "Oh my gosh, only 60 miles out of our way is a meteorite that hit the Earth. We gotta go see it."
That's what people do. That I'm not ripping their moms, or I'm just saying, if you want to get somewhere, why is it so freaking complicated? Just figure out your goals and don't drift. This is why Bill Belichick sent out 250 letters. Clay, here's what happens. Here's what happens for me all the time. I start getting motivated. I start feeling a good flow. I'm in a good flow. I'm feeling motivated. And then what happens is I get a little, just a little rejection sauce, a little side of rejection sauce there. And then I start to I get upset. I get anxiety. I start to get worried. I just get anxiety. Okay, well then don't be an entrepreneur. Just stop. Like, quit the game. Quit trying. You know what I mean? Just quit. Just stop. It's okay. It's okay for you to say you don't have what it takes. But I want what it takes. Then okay. So then Winston Churchill, the former prime minister of England, who stood up to Adolf Hitler and the Third Reich, the only country that stood up to Hitler and fought back at a time before the United States decided to team up. Before the United States decided to team up and to fight back against Hitler, Winston Churchill was all in. And he says success is the ability to go from failure to another failure with no loss of enthusiasm. Success is the ability to go from one failure to another with no loss of enthusiasm. No loss! You got to find a way to get more motivated the more rejections you get. You got to find a way to have more firepower every time that you get that hate. You want to convert that haterade into haterade into like an energy source. You want to convert that hate into the haterade energy source. It's like a friction can create electricity and energy. That friction is what causes you to get more motivated. That's how you achieve success. But if you're somebody who's like, well, every time I get rejected, I just get less motivated. Well, let me read you a Napoleon Hill quote because he's a more articulate man than I am. He says here, Napoleon Hill says, people who do not succeed have one distinguishing trait in common. They all know the reasons for failure and have what they believe to be airtight alibis to explain their own lack of achievement. If I had the money, I would succeed. If I could get the job, I could succeed. If I had been given a chance, I could succeed. If I were only younger, I could succeed. If I were only older, I could succeed. If I had a better education, I could succeed. If I could just save money, I could succeed. If I lived in a big city, I could succeed. If I were not so fat, I could succeed. If my talents were known, I could succeed. If I didn't have a past, I could succeed. If I had my own business, I could succeed. If I had the courage, I could succeed. That's Napoleon Hill. I'm going to give you more. If I didn't have anxiety, I could succeed. If I wasn't stressed out, I could succeed. If I wasn't a night person, I could succeed. I wasn't raised in a bad family, I could succeed. If my skin color was a different color, I could succeed. If I wasn't a man, I could succeed. If I wasn't a woman, I could succeed. If I wasn't a homosexual, I could succeed. If I wasn't born in this town, I could succeed. If I only had the time, I could succeed. If I wasn't struggling with anxiety, I could succeed. If I was... What? These are things people say. If I had the time, I could succeed. Deal with it. What are your goals for your F6 life? And let's get there. Just like Bill Belichick, he was sending out handwritten letters. Let's take a moment and let's just listen to this. Would be like audio of Bill Belichick handwriting a letter. Let's listen to what this would sound like for a second and just see if maybe this would be. Maybe this would motivate you. Let's listen to like hours of Dear Notre Dame. My name is Bill Belichick, and I would sincerely like the opportunity to become. Do you understand this would take hours and hours and hours? And the thing is, he didn't have a marketing budget. He didn't know anybody. He had no inside connections. But that's how he got started. And he got hired for $0.25 an hour. A quarter. He got hired for $0.25 an hour. A quarter. Not $1. A quarter. Did you say a quarter? A quarter. He got hired for a quarter. What word are you saying? A quarter. No, soccer. Are you saying corner or quarter? A quarter. Think about that. That's not a big number. Bill Belichick fun factoid number 86 coming in hot from the Patriot Way podcast help desk here. Bill Belichick received his first job by working for free as a film guy. Please read the notable quotable again from fun factoid number 86 there, Jaron. It says, in 1975...
He got his first job from Marty Broda.
Yep, you got it.
Nailed it.
Yep.
This head coach ran the Baltimore Colts by telling him, you don't even have to pay me, just give me something real.
That's a hot deal. That's what Elephant in the Room is. Our first haircut at Elephant in the Room is how much money, Mr. Rojas, for the first haircut?
Just $1.
Have you been there yet?
Yes, I have.
Was it good?
It was amazing.
You liked it?
I'm not gonna lie. The first hand wax thing kind of threw me off a little bit, but other than that, it was great service and. Did
the shampoo get you? Did you fall asleep?
I freaked out the guy.
The guy?
Yeah.
What happened?
He put the hot towel on me, and then
You jumped?
Oh, I jumped. I screamed, and I
Did
moved
you really?
my hand. Yes, I did, and I freaked him out. And then I was like, okay, wait, never mind, dude.
Had you ever been to a place like that before?
I have something similar to that, but like nothing like to that type of service and atmosphere onto that without having to pay attention to like a TV screen or something.
Jaron, have you been to the Elephant in the Room so far?
Oh yes.
You have?
A monthly.
Do you like that $1? Did you like the first $1 haircut? Was it worth it?
The first $1 haircut was exquisite.
But I mean, it's $1.
How do you not?
It's a no-brainer. Yes? That's why I do it. It's $1. It's not free for me to offer. It costs me $22 to give you a haircut for $1. That's what it costs me. I go backwards. But Clay, I'm not willing to do a no-brainer. Well, then you're going to lose. But my industry's different. Well, then you're going to lose. My industry's different. Really? Really? I don't think so. Bill Belichick, fun factoid number 87. The Patriot Way. Players hated him when he first started. This just in. People don't like accountability. From the Bleacher Report, the article is Before the Hoodie, Bill Belichick's origin story. Share with us, Jaron.
Players, though some wanted to clock him, Colts linebacker Stan White told Halberstam, if Belichick seems harsh now, you should have seen him in his early years. He was not so arrogant and brash that the Colts player called him punk. Belichick was a kid. He hadn't even sniffed a pro ball or even gone to some great football school like Notre Dame or Alabama. He didn't look like a football guy. Next to pro football players, he could look positively small. He didn't fit in hyper macho world, and it didn't help him that part of his job was collecting paybooks from cut players. So his attitude, because he
Remember real quick, he doesn't look macho. He did not fit in, and his job was to collect the playbooks from the players they cut. So when a player got cut, he had to go collect those things. So the article continues. So his attitude because he was so young, White said, was, I'm not going to let you push me around because I'm so young. I'm going to push you around first. So Bill Belichick came in there and laid down the law. But again, if you're a manager out there, Mr. Rojas, you managed the Fuddruckers for quite a while. What happens if you let the prisoners in charge of the asylum, if you let the employees run the office, what happens?
It'll go rampant. I mean, they respect to what you inspect. It's just one of those things. If you don't hold them accountable, I mean, it's just going to go crazy. It's going to be a jungle.
Shunda. Bill Belichick, fun factoid number 88, the Patriot Way. Bill was not a mean cuss because he wanted to be. Now, before we move on to fun factoid number 88, I want to clarify. If you're a manager, you've got to lay down the law. And if you avoid friction, your success will be a fiction. If you avoid friction, your success will be a fiction. You've got to create a positive atmosphere. Jaron, you're up here every day for the
That's
last 3 months or so.
130 days.
How would you describe the atmosphere on a daily basis up there for the people out there who have never worked in this environment, been here, they haven't attended a workshop, they've never had a job for me, working with me? Talk to them about what the atmosphere is like up here working with myself and John and the entire team.
Well, the best part about it is almost everyone hates it if you're not an entrepreneur mindset. It is 100% all the time from the moment you come in at 4 in the morning until you leave at 5 in the evening. There is not a dull moment. There's always overhead music playing. There's always someone pushing you to do better, and it's just never ending. It's great.
If you get here, if you're scheduled to work here 7 a.m. to 3, we have many people that want to work here from 7 a.m. to 3, but we work during 7 a.m. to 3. We're not on our smartphones screwing around all day. It's an environment where we get stuff done. There are key performance indicators. Mr. Rojas, you're making all the calls right now for Shaw Homes. And is there a quota for how many calls you're supposed to make per day?
They didn't give me a number. They just said, hey, go ahead and do it.
How many calls a day are you making?
300 plus.
Let me tell you what, you'd be learning about that 100 calls per day minimum quota if you were hitting the minimum. But you're hitting 300 calls a day. 300 calls a day. Somebody out there should write that down. You mean there's a guy in your office making 300 calls a day? 300 calls in a day? 300? A lot of businesses don't make 300 calls in a week.
I actually broke my personal record of 703 in one day.
Surely you can't be serious.
I am serious. And don't call me Shirley.
Somebody out there, though, you have an office where your team doesn't make 300 calls a week. A week. Because it's weak. But our guys are making 300 calls a day. Who are you guys calling? Well, we're calling leads for our clients. A lot of our clients say, I don't have anyone on my team who is willing to do the calls. I can't make them do the calls. They don't want to do the calls. I can't find someone who will make the calls. And so, therefore, could you guys make the calls for me? And, yes, we do. We make the calls for you. And a lot of clients hire us to do that. But when we make calls for you, let me tell you what. We make calls for you. That's what we do because we charge you for it. But some people who work for you will charge you. They're an employee, and they're getting paid per hour. And they're not making calls. You're paying them to make calls, but they're not making calls. That's a lot like going to the store, and you walk into that store to buy some kale, and you walk out with a turkey leg. And you're like, hey, can I get some kale? Sure, here's a turkey leg. I wanted kale. Sure, here's an orange. I wanted kale. You get nothing, but go ahead and pay for it. What? Yeah, just go ahead and leave. My cart feels kind of empty. Yeah, because nothing's in it, but you paid for it. That's called employees that don't do their crap. And was that a problem at Fuddruckers ever?
That was a problem.
And how do you get people to do their jobs? How do you do it? What do you do? Do you give them a haiku? Do you hug them? Do you cuddle them? Or what do you do? How do you get people to do their jobs?
Coach them through it. Show them what I need them to be doing. And it was always that coaching moment. Every single moment was a coaching moment there.
And if somebody won't do it, eventually after all the coaching, what do you do?
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. This just in. So Bill Belichick, fun factoid, number 88. The Patriot Way. Bill Belichick was not a mean cuss because he wanted to be. The BleacherReport.com article entitled Before the Hoodie, Bill Belichick's origin story. Jaron, read the excerpt, my friend.
He didn't ease off until he established himself with the Giants, and even then only a little. Bill Belichick told Halberstam that he didn't want to be that stern, cocky guy, but he felt like he was a mask that he had to wear in order to earn the respect and authority required to survive in this world.
Real quick, he said he didn't want to be that stern, cocky guy, but he felt it was a mask he had to wear to earn the respect and the authority required to survive in that NFL testosterone world. He believed he had been forced to be more, he'd been forced to be intense because the players wouldn't respect him otherwise. So he had to have that game face. So I'm asking you right now, are you the manager that everyone jokes about because they know that you're not going to bring about the success you talk about? Are you the manager that everybody talks about because all the employees know that you won't bring about the success that you talk about? They know that you're just going to have a new idea every week. Does your team know that you're just going to have a new idea every week? Is that the conversation in your office? It's like, oh yeah, this is the idea week guy. Every week he has a new idea. The idea never gets executed on, and so that's why she is not a good boss. Are you a joke? Are you blowing smoke? Or are you somebody who gets it done? That's the question I have. Are you tolerating jackassery? And if so, it might be time to change that game face. Bill Belichick, fun factoid number 89, the Patriot way. Bill used to love talking to the media. Jaron, tell us about this.
Yeah, so Bob, a Giants beat reporter in the 1980s, remembers Belichick answering questions about defense by happily drawing diagrams right on the notepad. Imagine that, Bill Belichick taking notes for a reporter.
Repeat that again. He took notes for a what?
Reporter.
Oh, well, Bill Belichick now is notorious for not doing interviews and or saying as little as possible. Jaron, why do you think he says as little as possible now during interviews?
Well, he actually explains it really well. So he actually watches every single interview of every coach before he plays against them, and people in the past used to actually give away their entire strategy for the next game.
So he's in the game to win. He's playing the game to win, and he doesn't want to give away his strategy.
That's the only reason he does it.
But again, I see a lot of leaders say, business owners, I can't change. It's the way I've always done it. Well, Bill Belichick used to always do interviews and actually draw out his plays for the reporters. And he found over time it wasn't helping his team win. Somebody says, well, in our office, I know some people out there won't believe this, but my office used to be open 6 days a week. Now it's open 4. I remember when I switched it to 4. Oh, man. You would have thought I was advocating for communism or something. I'm like, guys, we're going to go 7 to 3. That's the new schedule. Starting in 2 weeks, get used to it. Tell your husbands, tell your wives, tell whatever, boyfriends, girlfriends. Plan your schedule. Instead of going 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, we're going 7 to 3, 4 days a week. People are going, but you've always said that we're going to be open 9 to 5, Monday through Friday, and then bonus day on Saturday for certain clients. I'm like, sure. And I have.
But what about work-life balance?
But I'm saying when you switch to the 4-day work week, there's a momentum. Everyone's used to that 5 to 6, and you change. I mean, Rojas, does it seem kind of weird that your day wraps up at 3 most days?
That should probably answer my question, right? Your question there. But getting off at 3 or getting off at 4 or 5, and I can have a night off.
What kind of stuff do you do with that downtime? You spend some time with the kids, with the wife? Do you go? What do you do?
Now that I've been working here, I actually schedule my time on what I'm doing. So I'm going home, reading a book, hanging out with the family and everything. Depending if we have church or going to any type of other events, that's what we do every single night now.
Is there a lot of traffic at 6 a.m. on the way to work?
Not at all.
Is there a lot of traffic when you're leaving at 3?
Not at all.
There it is. So I encourage all the listeners out there. I had one listener I've been working with for a long, long time, and he just decided to offer 24/7 service. And they used to be open just 9 to 5. So they have a night shift that works at night that answers the phone calls. And they've almost doubled their company with no additional advertising, simply by being one of the only service providers in his industry to be open after 5. That's a move. Now, Bill Belichick, fun factoid number 90, the final one of this particular show. And on our final show, we're going to cover fun facts 91 through 102. I say final, it's the final of the fun facts, but then we have 75 notable quotables we're going to cover as well. So, Bill Belichick, fun factoid number 90, the Patriot way. Bill doesn't talk to media because he wants to win. This article comes to us from the Bleacher Report. Before the Hoodie, Bill Belichick's origin story. Jaron, what say you?
So Bill later told Halberstam that this was a mistake. Even still in private, he tried to be kind. Once kicked then plain dealer, beat reporter Tony Grossi out of a practice, but invited him into his office later for what became an hour-long conversation.
Keep reading, my friend. Oh, yeah. Do we have another? We have page 2? I will continue. Okay. Do we find it? No? Is there not page 2?
I don't have that.
We're short. We've shorted you by 1 page. He goes on to say, I explained how he was so hard to cover And he explained why he put these things in place, and he thinks we were against the team because of it. It all went back to being competitive, he said. If I answer that question the way you want, I'm giving up information. I'm lessening our chances to have some kind of advantage. All coach stuff. The GQ magazine story said, if he were to joke and suddenly lighten up with everybody, it would compromise who he is. He's certainly capable of doing it. He could come out next week and start telling one-liners and tell you what happened on one play and what happened with this player. But he'd be saying to himself, you're cutting away at your ability to really be a good coach. You're showing too much. So if you're out there today, what kind of game face do you need to have to manage your team? Is your team doing okay with you being the Mr. Nice Guy, or do you need to be a little more tough? I'm just asking you, from a management perspective, I find that entrepreneurs tell me over and over that the hardest part about running a company is not marketing, it is not sales, it isn't accounting, it's managing people. And if you struggle to manage people, you're not alone, and that's why we're recording this entire series for you. And so now without any further ado, we like to end each and every show with a boom. So here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom. Stop what you're doing and think about this for a second. What would happen if your company was suddenly able to generate exponentially more quality sales leads? That would be incredible. What would happen if your company came up at the top or near the top of the Google search engine results? Well, I would just feel overwhelmed with all that business. How many thousands of dollars in lost sales or millions of dollars in lost sales are you missing out on simply because your potential customers can't find you when they go online to search for the products and services that you offer? I refuse to think that thought because I don't want any more business. Unless you are a dirty communist that hates money, my new book, Search Engine Domination, will help you grow your business. In my new book, Search Engine Domination, we will teach you the specific steps that you need to take to dominate the search engine results. What do you mean by dominate? You see, in my new book, Search Engine Domination, we will teach you the specific steps that you need to take to dominate search engine results. Download your free ebook copy today at thebestseobook.com. I repeat, that's thebestseobook.com.
My name is Amy Baltimore, and I am a CPA in Covington, Tennessee. I've been working with the Thrive team now for about a year. One of the first things that they did was to update my website and my search engine optimization. I prior had a website, but I was not being found on Google, and all of my new business was coming through referrals from friends, family, etc. And right away, I started to see results. People were calling and coming in saying that they found me on Google. They just Googled CPA near me, and there I was at the top of the page. And so it's been a great help to my business.
Again, you can download your free ebook copy today at thebestseobook.com.
Hey, this is Dustin Huff. I'm with Keystone Harbor Marina. We joined Thrive back in January and have been working with these guys for about 7 months. During that time period, we have moved up our Google rank through reviews and SEO processes that we've compiled through these guys. Our leads have gone from about 4 a week to now 165 a week. So the process works. I will tell you from experience, once you begin, you have to stay with it. As long as you continually do this week in and week out, month in and month out, you'll continually grow.
The system works, but nothing works unless you do. You've got to take some action. Download the ebook for free today at thebestseobook.com.
Hello, my name is Daniel with Daniel's Heating and Air here in Amarillo, Texas. The way Google has affected my business, we have got a lot of calls from Google. Right now it's July, and we've had the best month ever. And it took us about 8 to 10 months to get on top of Google, and I'm glad we did.
Remember, nothing works unless you do. You have to go to thebestseobook.com today. Download the ebook for free. Just download that ebook for free, and you'll be off to the races.
Hi, my name is Christina Nemus. I'm the owner and operator of Angel's Touch Auto Body and Detailing in Bourne, Massachusetts. We have been working with Thrive and their coaching for, say, 8 to 9 months, and it took us about 5 to 6 months to get on the top of Google, and with their help with the website and marketing, and the SEO and retargeting ads with Google, and it has been phenomenal. We just have light and day business coming in, phone calls coming in, walk-ins, referrals. It's just through the roof, and we couldn't be happier. At the moment, we are up 50% this year from the previous year, and not only is that part of our own hard work and diligence, but also with the help of Thrive and what they've done for us and getting us on the top of Google and, you know, all their knowledge and coaching. And yeah, so super grateful, super pumped to see what the future holds for all of us. Thank you.
This is your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time.
Lazy hands make for poverty, but diligent hands bring wealth. Proverbs 10:4. I'm here to tell you, you can do it if you can just motivate yourself. 12 the masses had to cut off a few, so on the daily you and I could rendezvous. A misshapen tree that I had to prune. I had to make cuts to be here daily at noon. So like a tidal wave of knowledge monsoon, I could rain on the parades of those who doubt in you. Are you the next Rockefeller or the next guru, or the next Dr. King who's changing the rules? Walls are in your way, will you run right through? Like a running back, the one, it's up to you. I remember my days back in the dorm room, tuned to the gloom like the temple of doom, overwhelmed with the doubts that try to consume my hope for the future that I could pursue. But from the mountaintop now I can conclude that you have what it takes if you want the view to.
This is your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time. It's your year to thrive. Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time.
This moment is profound, cause you're above the ground. Your road might have been rough, but what you got now is now. We're here to pick you up and to even show you how, but you gotta be resourceful with that old plow. Started from the bottom, but I worked my way up, cause by 4 a.m. I've always been prayed up. Rise and grind as your time, don't dare let up. You gotta get it, don't quit it till your seeds grow up.
This is your year to thrive.
Come on.
Success you will find.
Yes.
Today is your day,
Somebody say,
and now is your time.
it's your time.
It's your year to thrive.
Come on.
Success you will find. Today is your day, and now is your time.
It's your time. We all have a wish and we all want to win, but we cannot begin without self-discipline. If you fall on your face, get yourself up again. Attach yourself to goals, not fail with the friends. When the storms get rough and it's scattered and leave, you only be there with yourself and what you believe. We believe in you, but not as much as God does. If you're going through hell, he's got nothing but love. Apply what you learn, increase what you earn, and in due time you have money to burn.
Apply what you've learned, increase what you've earned, and in due time you got money to burn.
Sing it.
Apply what you've learned, increase what you've earned, in due time you got money to burn.
Sing it.
Apply what you've learned,
Sing it.
increase what you've earned,
Yes.
in due time you got money to
With
to
this typical
burn.
miracle,
Yeah.
I look to shout down the doubters, kill the weeds that be killing your dream flowers, empower you to devour all the obstacles that make your sweet dreams sour. As for me, I used to stutter, but now I'm on the microphone smooth like butter. If I can do it, I know you can too, but you must stick to it like postage do. And while Merton's on the chorus, singing what he sings, I encourage you to dream big dreams.
Today is your day,
Today's your day,
and now is your time.
It's your time.
This is your year to thrive.
sing it.
Success you will find. Today is your day,
It's your day,
and now is your time.
it's your time.
Today is your day,
Come on.
and now is your time.
Sing it, Merton.
Today is your day, now is your time.
I realize I can't sing like that, but I can talk and play the woodblock. Okay. If you guys need me, I'll just be over here.